So I think there's one thing to understand at the logical level, that money isn't real. And I know that money now is on a computer screen, but the belief, it's around the belief that we have. I would say our conscious mind and our conscious beliefs drive maybe 5% of our behavior, whereas our subconscious mind and our subconscious beliefs drive 95% of our actual behavior. So whilst we might read an article that says, that I've written here, that says, money isn't real, you could manifest as much of it as you wanted if you really wanted to. And everyone goes, but how? And your logical brain instantly starts going, well, no, because I know I have to trade time for money, and I know that I only earn a certain amount per hour. And and you start thinking about it logically. But actually, when you think about money at the level of energetics, really, money doesn't have a mind of its own. Money responds to your vibrational state. It responds to how worthy you think you are of a certain level of wealth. It responds to what level of money you're thinking about. Determines, what dreams do you have? What aspirations do you have? What do you want to do with your money? What difference do you want to make in the world? It responds to your conditioning. And that conditioning is from birth. And those limiting beliefs that you might have around wealth and where wealth comes from and how to create more wealth will come from how you were brought up. It will come from the ideals that your family had. It will come from your network. It will come from the people you spend the most time with. It comes from your environment. It's multifaceted and it's really complex. There's a lot that goes into, I would say, our wealth thermometer, and whether it's, high or low, our ability to attract or repel wealth. But it really does, at the most basic level, come down to our beliefs and our belief that we are worthy of attaining a certain level of wealth. So energy has to flow, okay? It has to flow. We have the law of giving, and we also have the law of cause and effect. And whilst you wouldn't give money with an expectation that you expect it back, it's proven time and time again that when you give and you give joyfully, you give to charity with no expectation of it coming back. You give in gratitude to people, knowing that you're helping or you're passing it along or you're flowing the money. It comes back to you. And quite oftentimes it comes back to you in a higher proportion to what you've actually given it. And people that are incredibly wealthy understand this. They understand this intrinsically. Multi-millionaires, billionaires, they give a very high proportion of their money away. And it always finds its way back to them. Always. Because wealthy people understand this. And I was talking about wealth consciousness. You can't really say low and high consciousness, right? There's no such thing, but let's just explain it this way so people can visualize it. When you have low wealth consciousness, you're afraid to give because you don't think you have enough, and you don't think that you're going to get it back, or you don't think that you can afford it, and you're in the energy of lack. And remember, money doesn't have a mind of its own. It responds to your energy. It responds to your vibration. And if you're in a vibration of lack, even though you don't give your money to anyone and you keep it, the universe will find a way to take that money off you. You might end up with a huge bill, you might end up with a massive expense you weren't expecting, something will happen, and that money will probably leave you. But when you give, and you give joyfully, and you give knowing that, I live in the vibration of abundance. I live in the vibration and the belief that I will always have enough. You can give joyfully without any fear or lack around that. And that money will always come back to you every single time, because you have that high wealth consciousness. The mind is a fantastic tool. It's just that we have, in society today, have allowed our minds to completely run the show. They run our lives now. We are so in our logical minds, which is a very, again, masculine thing to do. And we're in a very masculine world, a masculine environment. They say it's a man's world. They're not wrong. It was built by men, for men. And we as women are trying to win in this world. And the mind really is reprogrammed through neuroplasticity. The neurons in your mind wire and fire certain ways, and they can be reprogrammed, they can be rewired, they can be refired different ways. And the mind cannot tell the difference between what's real and what's imagined. And we just constantly subconsciously or unconsciously feed it the same data all the time and wonder why we're not changing, and wonder why we're getting the same old results all the time, and wonder why we have these phobias, and wonder why we have these fears. And the mind is such a powerful tool, but it really is quite flexible, and we can teach it to be different.